Welcome to Simply Explained English. I am Lisa.
And I'm Eric. Do you want to improve your English easily? If so, you're in the right place.
Okay, today we'll listen to a podcast about embrace mistakes. Unlock your growth mindset.
Let's listen to it.
Hey everyone, welcome back to the podcast. Today, we're talking about something that everyone deals with, making mistakes.
Hi, everyone. Mistakes aren't bad. In fact, they're an important part of learning and growing.
Exactly. Did you know that researchers at the University of California found that our brains actually grow when we make mistakes?
Really? That's fascinating.
It is. When we make a mistake, our brain sets new connections to try and figure out what went wrong. That's why mistakes are so valuable.
I love that. And think about it. When you learned to ride a bike, did you get it perfect the first time? Definitely not. I fell so many times, but every fall taught me how to balance better.
Exactly. So, every mistake is like a little lesson.
And that's what today's episode is all about, how to embrace mistakes and use them to grow. So, Mark, have you ever heard of the term growth mindset?
Oh, yes. It's a concept introduced by Dr. Carol Dweck, a psychologist at Stanford University.
That's right. A growth mindset is when you believe that your abilities can improve with effort and practice. The opposite of that is a fixed mindset, where people think they're either good at something or not, and there's no room for change.
Exactly. Let's take language learning as an example. If you have a growth mindset, you might say, I'm not fluent yet, but I'm getting better every day. But with a fixed mindset, you might think, I'm just not good at learning languages, so why try?
And that kind of thinking can stop you from improving. Research shows that people with a growth mindset are more likely to succeed because they keep trying, even when things get tough.
That's so true. And mistakes are a big part of this process. Instead of seeing them as failures, people with a growth mindset see them as steps towards success.
I love that perspective. It's like turning every oops into an aha moment. So, if you've made a mistake recently, don't be too hard on yourself. Remember, it's just your brain's way of saying, hey, let's grow.
Great idea. Let's start with a story everyone knows. Thomas Edison.
The inventor of the light bulb.
Exactly. When someone asked Edison about his failed attempts, he reportedly said, I didn't fail. I just found 10,000 ways that didn't work.
That's such a powerful mindset. Instead of giving up, he kept learning and improving.
And because of that, we have light bulbs today. His mistakes weren't failures, they were steps toward success.
That's a classic example. But it's not just about inventors. Think about basketball players. Did you know that Michael Jordan, one of the greatest basketball players ever, was cut from his high school basketball team?
No way.
Yes. But instead of giving up, he practiced harder and came back, even stronger. He once said, I've failed over and over again in my life, and that is why I succeed.
That's so inspiring. It shows how important it is to keep going, even when things feel tough.
Absolutely. And let's not forget small everyday examples, like learning a new language. I remember when I first tried speaking Spanish during my trip to Spain. I made so many grammar mistakes.
And how did people react?
They were so kind. They appreciated my effort and even helped me improve.
That's a perfect example. Every mistake taught you something, and in the end, you became better at Spanish.
Right. The key is to see mistakes as part of the process, not as something to be ashamed of. Whether you're an inventor, an athlete, or just someone learning a new skill, mistakes help you grow.
So, to our listeners, don't fear mistakes. Embrace them. Each one is a stepping stone to your success.
Okay, Mark, but here's a big question. How do you stay motivated after making a mistake?
That's a great question, Emma. Because, let's be honest, making mistakes can feel frustrating, even embarrassing sometimes.
Absolutely. But the first thing to remember is that it's okay to feel that way. It's normal. Instead of focusing on what went wrong, ask yourself, what can I learn from this?
That's so helpful. It turns the situation into a learning opportunity. For example, instead of saying, I'm terrible at this or that, you can think, next time, I'll practice more.
That's a great mindset. Another tip I love is to celebrate small wins. Maybe you made a mistake, but you also did something right. Focus on that too.
Yes. Like if you're learning to cook and the dish doesn't taste perfect, but you learned how to chop vegetables correctly, that's progress.
Totally. And here's another idea. Talk to someone about it. A friend, a teacher, or even a mentor. They can give you a fresh perspective and remind you that one mistake doesn't define you.
That's true. Sometimes we're our own worst critics, and hearing someone else's encouragement can make a big difference.
And let's not forget self-care. If a mistake has you feeling down, take a break. Go for a walk, listen to music, or do something that makes you happy.
Absolutely. Taking care of yourself helps you come back stronger.
And remember, progress takes time. No one becomes an expert overnight. Be patient with yourself and keep going.
That's great advice, Emma. To our listeners, don't let one mistake stop you and keep moving forward.
Exactly. Every mistake is a chance to grow, and every step forward is worth celebrating.
So to our listeners, don't give up. Celebrate your progress.
And stay curious. Every mistake teaches you something new.
Thanks for joining us. Keep learning, keep growing, and embrace mistakes.
Bye for now.
It was a very inspiring podcast, Lisa.
Agreed. I loved how they said mistakes are opportunities to grow.
That Edison quote was my favorite, seeing failures as steps to success.
Same here. It's such a good reminder to keep trying.
Absolutely. Let's embrace those oops moments more often.
Absolutely, Eric. Okay, well, let's start our podcast. What are the words today, Eric?
The first word today is fixed. Then we will continue with mindset and be likely to. Then ashamed. And the final one is no more room for something.
Let's start with the first word.
The first word is fixed.
Fixed.
Fixed is an adjective. It means something that doesn't change or is set and cannot move. For example, if you have a fixed schedule, it means your schedule is the same every day, and it doesn't change.
Oh, like a fixed price at a store. That means the price stays the same, no matter what.
Exactly. Here's an example sentence. The train leaves at a fixed time every morning, 7:30 a.m. This means the train always leaves at the same time, and the time doesn't change.
Here's another example. The restaurant has a fixed menu, so you cannot ask for different dishes. This means the menu always stays the same. You cannot change it.
Now let's talk a bit about how to use fixed in a sentence. For example, you usually use fixed with nouns like price, schedule, time, or idea.
That's right. You might also hear people say, fixed on something. For example, he's fixed on his goal, which means he's focused and won't change his mind.
Good point, Lisa.
So, fixed is a really useful word to describe things that don't change, like schedules, plans, or even ideas. Okay, well, I think now our listeners understand the word fixed better. Shall we move on to the next word?
Let's do that. The next word is mindset.
Mindset.
Mindset is a noun. It means the way a person thinks about something or their attitude towards it. For example, if someone has a positive mindset, they look at things in a hopeful and optimistic way.
Oh, I like that. So, it's like saying whether someone has a positive or negative way of thinking about something, right?
Exactly. For example, if someone has a growth mindset, they believe they can improve by learning and working hard. On the other hand, if someone has a fixed mindset, they might think their abilities or talents cannot change. Here's an example sentence. She has a strong mindset and never gives up, even when things are hard. This means she thinks in a determined way and stays positive, even in difficult situations.
Here's another example. His mindset about exercise changed after he started feeling healthier. This means he started thinking about exercise in a better, more positive way.
Good example, Lisa. And mindset is used in both formal and informal situations. You might hear it in a motivational speech, in a classroom, or even in everyday conversations.
That's a good tip. Remember, your mindset affects how you handle challenges and opportunities in life. Okay, well, I think now our listeners understand the word mindset better. Let's move on to the next word.
The next word is be likely.
Be likely.
Be likely is an adjective used to talk about something that will probably happen. It means there's a good chance something will happen, but it's not 100% certain.
Oh, so if you say, it's likely to rain tomorrow, it means it will probably rain, but you're not completely sure.
Exactly. Here's an example sentence. She is likely to arrive early because she left the house on time. This means she will probably get there early, but it's not certain.
Here's another example. They are likely to win the game since they've been practicing a lot. This means they will probably win because they are well prepared.
Now let's talk about grammar. Be likely is often followed by to plus verb, like likely to rain or likely to win. You can also use it with a subject like it is likely that she will arrive early.
Eric, sometimes very likely or most likely, is used. What does it mean?
Most likely means the thing that has the highest chance of happening.
Can we hear some examples?
Sure, Lisa. For example, it's most likely going to rain tomorrow because the weather forecast says so. Here's another one. When he's late, it's most likely because of traffic.
What about, I am very likely to travel to Spain next year?
Good example. It means that you are planning to visit Spain in the upcoming year, but there's still some uncertainty. The phrase very likely suggests a high probability, but not absolute certainty.
Okay, I got it. It must be very common in daily English, Eric.
Yes, Lisa. It is, and it is used in informal and formal situations as well.
Okay, well, I think we've explained be likely pretty well. Let's move on to the next word.
The next word is ashamed.
Ashamed.
Ashamed is an adjective. It means feeling bad or guilty about something you did wrong or feeling embarrassed about something. For example, if you make a mistake, you might feel ashamed because you know you could have done better.
Oh, I see. For example, when someone lies, they feel ashamed because they know it isn't the right thing to do.
Exactly. Here's an example sentence. He was ashamed of forgetting his friend's birthday. This means he felt bad because he didn't remember something important.
Here's another example. She felt ashamed when she failed her test, even though she tried her best. This means she felt embarrassed and upset about not passing the test.
Now, let's talk about grammar. After ashamed, we often use the prepositions of or for. For example, I'm ashamed of my behavior last night. Or she's ashamed for not telling the truth.
That's a helpful tip. Remember, feeling ashamed isn't always bad. It can help us learn from our mistakes and do better next time.
Agreed, Lisa.
Okay, well, we've reached the last word today. What is the last word, Eric?
The last word is no more room for something.
No more room for something.
This idiom means there is no space left for something, either physically or in a non-physical way. For example, if your suitcase is full, you can say, there's no more room for clothes, which means you can't fit anything else in it.
Oh, I get it. You can also use it for things like time or emotions. For example, there's no more room for mistakes, meaning there's no chance to make any more errors.
Exactly. Here's an example sentence related to a physical situation. The fridge is so full, there's no more room for food. This means the fridge has no space left to store anything else.
My example is about a non-physical situation. There's no more room for anger in her life. She wants to be happy. This means she doesn't want to feel angry anymore and wants to focus on positive emotions instead.
Let me give you another example, Lisa. We have no more room for any mistakes in this project. This means that from now on, we shouldn't make any mistakes.
Or, there's no more room for debate in this decision.
Perfect. Now, let's talk about grammar. You usually say no more room for, followed by a noun like food, mistakes, or clothes. It's often used to talk about both physical and emotional limits.
Okay, to wrap up, no more room for something can mean 1. No physical space left, or 2. No capacity or tolerance left for something. It's flexible and works in many situations, right?
Perfect summary, Lisa.
Okay, well, that's it for today's episode of Simply Explained English. We hope you found the words helpful and the explanations easy to understand.
Thanks for listening. Keep studying your English.
And stay tuned. Bye for now.